Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Robin's Nest. Thanks for tuning in again today. I'm going to talk a little Team Penske, Indy. All that nonsense with them cheating. Bunch of cheaters. No, I'm just kidding, but we're going to talk about it. And we're also going to talk a little NASCAR again. So, as usual, if you like to listen to me ramble, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. The works, if you're interested in die-cast cars, t-shirts, hats, any kind of racing memorabilia, we've got something for you. So check out our eBay page. Link is in the description. We have a site-wide sale going on for the next month, 10% off everything. So check it out. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so if you've been living under a rock for the past week, let me fill you in on what's been going on. So Team Penske went through practice leading into qualifying, had no issues. Went through qualifying on Saturday to set the field. And then Sunday rolled around and they're getting ready for the Fast 12. And the way that works is they take the field, they take the top 12 out of it. The top 12 qualify on Sunday, and then they take the top 6 from the 12, and those guys compete for the pole. So they were sitting on pit road getting ready to go qualify, and no one has given a straight enough answer. Some people have said that it's an official, some people said that it's someone from a rival team. Noticed that there was something off, something askew about the attenuator on the back of, I believe, Newgarden's car. Okay, so the attenuator, for those unfamiliar with any car, is directly on the back of the car. It's directly below the spoiler. It's dead center in the back of the car. Okay. Now, there's rules about the way that the attenuator is supposed to attach to the chassis of the car. And the reason being is if you do what Penske did, where they trimmed off some of the side and kind of made it more flush, your drag numbers will be better than your competitors. So that's what they did. They got caught, and so they didn't qualify. Tim Cindric went on TV, I think it was Sunday, and they asked him, they're like, why? They ended up pulling Will Power's car out of line. It hadn't gone through or had any technical infringement yet. Now, the IndyCar crew said that while the cars are sitting on pit road, they're still subject to technical inspection, and so that's how they supposedly found the problem. Who knows what to believe? But anyways, Tim Cindric said they pulled Will's car out of line because it had the same attenuator on the back of it that Newgarden's car did. And so since Newgarden's failed inspection, they kind of assumed that Will's would as well, and so they just pulled it out of line, and neither one of them qualified. Scott McLaughlin had wiped out in practice leading into the Fast 12 Sunday, and so his car wasn't ready anyways for him to qualify. So the fallout of all that has been, I think it was Monday, that they had a press conference, and they stated that the two Penske cars that were found to have the attenuator on the back that wasn't in compliance with the rules are going to be moved to the back of the field. They're effectively going to lose their qualifying time. Which I said before that I had a problem with that they claimed that the reason Jacob Abel's not being put in the race is because they wanted the fastest cars in the race. But that doesn't make any sense if you take their qualifying times away from them. You didn't just take what they potentially would have had in the Fast 12, you also took away their Saturday qualifying time, because now they're starting dead last, which means that Jacob Abel, who did qualify, or at least made an attempt, put a time in, should be in the race, and a Penske should be going home. And the way you figure that out is which Penske was faster on Saturday. The slowest of the two should be going home. And I would wager if you checked Scott McLaughlin's car before that crash happened, his diffuser would probably be very similar. And so anyways, they moved him to the back. They fined him $200,000. Another thing I don't really understand, because you're finding who? the guy who owns the series is a guy who owns the team. So is he paying himself? How does that work? Makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I would love for that to be explained to me. If it's going to charity or something like that, I can understand, but there's not really been much of an explanation there. So fast forward to today. Tim Cindric, who's been with the company for 26 years, just got fired, along with 2 other top execs at Team Penske. They're in full-blown damage control mode right now, because any veil of legitimacy that Penske had is gone. It's completely gone. Okay, it's also come out based on pictures from 2024 in comparison to pictures of Joseph's car from 2025, that the attenuator that was on the back of that car in 2024 was exactly the same as the one that was on the car that was just essentially disqualified from qualifying or whatever. So they had an illegal part on that car last year that conveniently no one from tech noticed when it was going through inspection. Conveniently. And this is the legitimacy part that I'm talking about, because when the guy who owns the series owns the marquee track, the biggest race of the season, and arguably the biggest race in the world, then he also owns a team that's competing. Now, when this team does something and it's not caught, or say they were to get a slap on the wrist, it looks bogus. It's the best way to put it. It just looks bogus. I have a problem with the fact that Roger was allowed to buy the series in the first place. There's so many conflicts of interest here. That, like, how can you possibly run the series and then run a team as well? And the reason that the penalties are so bad now is because people are fed up with it, man. People are online and they're pointing it out. Like, look, they had the push to pass situation that happened a while back, where they essentially were on the button longer than they were allowed to be during the races, and someone found out about it, and there was a fallout then too. This is not. Pato O'Ward talked about it. I think it was this morning, or it may have been yesterday. Excuse me. And he said that, looking back on the 2024 car, he said it explains so much that when he was racing Joseph towards the end of that race, he was like, Joseph was doing things in that car that just shouldn't have been able to do. Catching him at the rate that he caught him, passing him like he was sitting still, and Joseph did that entire race. I personally was sitting on the couch next to my wife watching that race, and then watching everything in the month of May leading up to it, and I told her, as plain as day, I said, that car is not legal. There's no way. That car is not legal. And come to find out I was right, which I knew it was. I've been around long enough, I can tell when something hinky's going on. Okay? And you have much of the peanut gallery online saying, well, you know, you can't retroactively go back and penalize them for something they did a year ago. It's on the inspectors. That's their fault for not catching it. Yeah, that would be true if we were talking about NASCAR and say Team Hendrick, when Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson were together and it came out that they were cheating basically every week. That is totally different than a guy owning the series and owning the team that's in question here. Okay, and there's pictures of him sitting on the back of that car smiling in 2024. It just is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. This is going to be, if he doesn't sell the series, if he doesn't sell the team, this is going to be the downfall of IndyCar. It just will be. It just will be. I mean, even once he's dead and gone, it's still his company that's doing it, that's still running the show, that's still running the team, still running the racetrack. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't have been allowed to have happened in the first place. I understand that COVID put a strain on IndyCar. It put a strain on a lot of businesses. I get that, and I'm glad IndyCar survived, but at what cost? You know, at what cost? I've had a serious issue with NASCAR over the past little bit, because there's no legitimacy in NASCAR anymore. There's just not. It just doesn't exist. They proved that during the All-Star race. when they're shooting off fireworks during a fake caution. But they're not honest with us. They lie to us. They tell us, oh no, nothing's bogus. What you see happening is what's actually happening. Get out of here with that crap. So, Roger Penske, Joe Gibbs, Rick Hendrick were adamant that the Gen 7 car be implemented as quickly as possible. Roger's quote was, if we're going to do it, let's go ahead and do it now. And now you look at the results basically every week. Who's winning all the races? The Gen 7 car was supposed to be an equalizer. It's a spec car. No different than IndyCar. IndyCar is a spec series. So, rather than Joe Gibbs, Penske, Hendrick having a leg up on everyone, it was supposed to bring everyone closer together. It's not done that. It's made Penske, Gibbs, and Hendrick unbeatable. Across the board, unbeatable. You may have one race now and again where someone from a different team screws around and wins a race. It's few and far between. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's bogus. It's clearly bogus. There's a reason why they haven't gone out of their way to fix the obvious problems with the Gen 7 car. We're, 2-3 years into that car now. They have no interest in fixing it. That's by design. That's a feature, not a bug. Okay? And it's a similar thing with IndyCar. And then you had not Joe Gibbs, but you had Chip Ganassi come out and say that he was upset with what Penske had done and stuff. Like, dude, your driver's won every race this season. One driver. Expect me to believe that car is legal? There's no way. There's that. So, Alex Palou is just that much better than everyone else on the IndyCar grid? Come on. I don't buy that. I did nothing against Alex. I like him. He's a cool guy. He seems like a cool guy anyways. No personal issues with him. But when you go into these series and you have teams that just start rattling off one right after another, no one else can compete with them. Similar deal with Penske and IMSA right now. Similar deal with Navi Kish and ETRC. It's the same thing. There's obviously something going on behind the scenes. They have a leg up. Now, whether the inspectors just don't want to find it, or they know that it's there and they're just overlooking it intentionally, I don't know what it is. But money makes the world go around, and he who has the deepest pockets is king. That's just a fact. You know, it is what it is. It's not like it used to be. You look at NASCAR, for example. Used to, you'd have guys show up with teams that were like a quarter of the budget of the big guys, and they could still run with them. You know, in the Cup Series back in the day, you'd have people like Jerry Nadeau show up in a Petty Enterprises Dodge and run up front. Same deal with Greg Biffle. That kind of stuff won't happen anymore. The disparity is too great between the big fish and the minnows. But yeah, I honestly, in my personal opinion, I think the win from 2024 from Newgarden should be scrubbed from the history books. They should give the trophy back. It should go to Pato O'Ward or whoever it was that finished second. I think it was Pato. And that's that. I'm the kind of person where Dale Jr. talks about cheating a lot on his podcast, and he says if my guys aren't cheating, they're not trying, so I don't have a problem with it. Okay, that's great. Good for you, man. Like, there's a problem with cheating. Okay? There's a big problem with cheating. And to sit back and say, well, you know, whatever, and then act like, too, because we're 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we can admit to cheating and because we know nothing's going to happen. Look at like Lance Armstrong. All of his medals were stripped because it came out that he was doping. He was cheating. He had a leg up on the competition because of what he was doing to his body. Okay. Now, that is a similar deal to motorsports. If you do something, you're cheating, you have a leg up on the competition, then you should not be able to keep those results. I'm sorry. I saw a video of Dale Jr. back in the day. He had a stack right in front of the onboard camera on the roof of the car, a stack of Budweiser stickers, and they had put like a ton of them right there on top of one another to make the stack was probably like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And he said that added a little bit extra drag to the car, so it made the car run better, which is, stuff like that is just ridiculous. It should not matter the time frame. It shouldn't. Are they going to go back and take that win away from him? I doubt it. Now Tim Cindric has been fired, so what's going to happen to Austin in the Cup Series? Now you can say that Austin got to his position on merit. You can say that, but is that really true? Did he really get there based on his ability? Or is he in that ride because of who his daddy is? I mean, Austin was never set the world on fire in trucks. He did in Xfinity because there was like 3 guys that he was racing every week. And which I've brought that up plenty of times during that era when he was in Xfinity. It was similar to Cole Custer. Everyone was saying Cole Custer is going to be the next big thing. He's winning a whole bunch of races, and Chase Briscoe's another one. Yeah, but who are they racing? You had like 3 or 4 guys who were actually capable of winning races every week. And then there was a massive drop-off between them and the rest of the field. Yeah, whether that be because of the team or driver ability, I don't know. I'm not putting one on the other. I'm just saying that's just the fact. And so Austin has shown in the Cup Series, outside of Daytona and Talladega, which it's Daytona and Talladega, if you start your car and you miss the wreck, when normally when there's a wreck, this last plate race that they did, obviously NASCAR told everybody to stay in line, not to have a big wreck, because everyone was upset about the way Daytona ended. You could see that as plain as day. That's what happened there. But usually there's a big wreck and you just avoid it, and if you're around at the end after that, then you've got a shot at winning the race. So I don't put a lot of stock into Daytona or Talladega anymore, or Atlanta, because it's just a crapshoot, especially the way the cars are now. But is Austin going to keep his ride, or is he going to get released? I don't know what his contract situation looks like and how long he's signed on for. I know he probably got an extension after he won a couple weeks ago, but and interesting to see. But yeah, something needs to happen with IndyCar. Roger needs to sell one or the other team, series. The track doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, really. The team and the series is a massive conflict of interest, massive. Because like I said, you're paying all the tech inspectors, officials, and all that kind of stuff. So it can't stay the way that it is. It just can't. It cannot. Something's got to give. If they want anyone to take their sports, their series seriously, something's got to change. Move forward. But anyways, that's that. If you enjoyed listening to me rant and rave, like I said, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. If you're interested in die-cast cars, t-shirts, hats, any of that good stuff, check out our eBay page. The link's in the description. Site-wide sale for the next month, 10% off. May bump that up, I'm not sure yet, but at least 10% off right now. So go check that out. Till next time, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you. Peace.
És 100 fölfele. 100 fölfele, jobb 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 25-re bal 2 szűk, bal 2 szűk, és bal 2, és bal 2, majd 50-re jobb 2, itt a bal 2, és 50-re jobb 2, majd szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra, szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra.